Hi everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm Mike B, and today we're going to be starting a new playlist called Would You Rather. What it's going to be is it's going to be two firearms, generally from the same time period or, realistically like that. And they're going to go head to head in my very opinionated personal preference rant. I'm going to explain which one I would prefer in that situation, and then we'll go from there as far as like details and specifics that kind of support my opinion on it. Since this is an opinion video, it's not a fact. These are not facts that I'm going to be, oh, this gun is better than this one. No, it's just for a certain situation. I think certain guns perform better and they're the right tool for the job. You can actually submit ideas for videos like this if you become a supporter on my Patreon. So as well as liking this video and subscribing before we even get started, go ahead and check out my Patreon page. For just $1 a month, you get in and you can suggest videos like this, and we have discussions, we do polls, and sometimes I even do a giveaway where I give away free military surplus stuff. So it's worth it, and it helps support the channel so we can get ammunition and other costs that we have to make videos. So you should go check that out. You can submit an idea for one of these videos and see it up on YouTube. So we'll get started. The situation right here is 1918, the Western Front. We've got the American on the right and the German on the left, okay? So the American pistol is the Colt Model 1917 New Service Double Action Revolver. So this is just a large frame Colt design, and it was chambered in 45 ACP, which is right here. I don't know if I need to really show you that up close. You probably know what it looks like. And held 6 rounds like most revolvers of that time. And the military used it on half-moon clips, right? They weren't exactly full moons like this, but they were issued on half-moon clips with 3 per. All of mine actually broke, so I only have the full moons to show you as an example of how it's loaded. So imagine that this is cut in half and there's 3 on each one, but for the purpose of this video, we're going to have to make do. So it's chambered at 45 ACP using half-moon clips, and it's pretty cool. It's a heavy gun. It's pretty big, but I have yet to find anybody that can't handle it. And on the left, we've got the German Pistola Model 1908, or better known as the Luger, right? And chambered in 9x19 millimeter Luger, or Parabellum. And it is fed from an 8-round external box magazine. Actually, this is a 7-rounder because it's a repro, and I think they messed up the design, but it's supposed to hold 8. So we've got 8 rounds total for that one. Okay, so which one would I rather have in, say, the woods or, sure, a trench, whatever, as far as carrying a sidearm for the purpose of close quarters combat or just to have something on me? I'm going to go with the Colt Model 1917. Now, here's why. I don't have anything really big against the Luger, right? I don't. It's an okay handgun. For that time, it was a pretty good handgun. I think this one is more reliable. I think all semi-automatic handguns are inherently going to give you more problems, and it sucks, but it's the way it is. You've got so many different moving parts, so many factors, different magazines, different ammo. I actually, if you watched my video of me shooting the Luger, I had a few malfunctions with it towards the end. It started gunking up really bad. I have never, ever had a malfunction with a Colt Model 1917, ever. And I've fired hundreds of rounds, if not thousands, through my other one, and had 0 problems, 0 malfunctions. The Luger, unfortunately, like every semi-automatic pistol, has got its drawbacks. You can put a lot of lead down there. You can reload really fast. The trigger's a lot better because it's just single action. The sights are okay. I prefer the sights on the Colt 1917 anyway, and we'll get to that in a second. I'll show you close-ups of what I'm talking about and everything. But, yeah, so I'm going to have to go with this. Now, the Luger fires the 9x19 millimeter, and I know this is an age-old argument, stopping power, whatever. But for the time when they weren't using really fancy rounds like HSTs or whatever, they were just using 115 grain full metal jacket, you had a lot of penetration, but it's kind of like the 5.56. You had penetration without, a lot of it wasn't an immediate death. It wasn't like, holy shit, I just got hit with a baseball bat. It was still obviously a lethal round. I'm not taking anything away from the 9mm, as I have several weapons that are chambered in the damn caliber. But for this time period at close quarters, I think the 45 ACP is actually something I would prefer, just for the sheer shock of when somebody gets hit with it. It's not going to blow them on their ass. They're not going to fall over like they do in the movies. But it's a 230 grain slug, which is a half an ounce of lead and copper, versus 115, which is just about a quarter ounce of lead and copper. Going into that person at a slower speed, it will go through wool and all that stuff. That's, at close range. Maybe at long range, it would not have as much velocity, so it wouldn't be as penetrative at distance as the 9mm. But we're talking about close quarters fighting, which is what these pistols were carried and designed and used for. Now, when we're talking about just the feel of these weapons, right? We've got the Colt 1917 right here. It's a great pistol. I love these things. I like revolvers in general. They're not my absolute favorite, but when I can get one, I do enjoy the hell out of them, right? Again, never had a malfunction with one of these. This design was implemented in 1917 as per the name, and they used these through the Korean War. These are a really long-serving pistol, and they're very reliable. Will always go bang, unless you have like an inherently crappy gun that's been not maintained, but they'll always go bang. Here's the sights on them. It's not very good, but they're pretty big, right? I'll try to angle that down. You can see the sights. I know it's kind of gangster, whatever. Here, let me see if I can get the angle on it. There we go. Yeah, so they're pretty big, easy to use, right? It's either a double action, which means, yeah, it's clear. You can see the gap in there, right? That gap would not be there if the half-moon clip was in there. So you can see on the double action, it's kind of a big draw. So that's one of the things that kind of sucks. But at close range, that doesn't matter. Now, for accuracy, this thing is extremely accurate. These are all really good guns. If your bore's not worn out, single action, I can actually hit a target at 50 yards at this and get well within where I need to hit. 50 yards for a handgun for me is very, very far, right? And for me to be able to do that with this is very impressive. I'm not bragging about my skills, but it's the fact that the gun itself can actually do that and be that user-friendly. So that's why I think I would have chosen the Colt 1917, or I would choose the Colt 1917 in that situation. Now I'll tell you a little bit about the Luger, because we can't just say it's a piece of crap and whatever, because obviously it's not. But for those purposes, for the close quarters stuff, I believe that the 45 ACP outperforms the 9x19mm, and I think the action, that being the revolver instead of the magazine-fed semi-automatic handgun, is just a little bit more confidence in this piece of weaponry as far as it's going to go bang when I pull the trigger. This one, there's several different factors why it could not go bang, or it couldn't go bang twice. This one will go bang once, twice, 6 times, right? Reload is a little bit easier on the Luger. I mean, obviously you just drop the magazine, put the new one in. But if you get proficient with the Colt 1917, it's also very, very quick, right? Bam. And then you put the, this moon clip doesn't like this gun, that's right. Anyway, so it's that quick, right? Here, let me go find another moon clip. All right. So hopefully this one likes it a little bit better. Yep, there we go. So that's pretty quick, right? So again, bam, you pop the old rounds out, bam, and then you got 6 more shots that quick. So I mean, it's comparable as a mag change. Sure, you do get a couple more rounds with the 9mm, but with this, if you can actually hit them on the first shot, it's going to make a big difference in your situation. So I'll take this guy out of the way. And I personally just don't like this toggle system, right? It's a pain in the ass. I think it's very uncomfortable to work. It's just kind of not really my thing. Now, I think why everybody, when I posted this on my Instagram page, don't forget to follow me on there too, most people said the Luger, and I'm wondering if that isn't just because of the sort of stigma and the popularity of the Luger being one of the most popular military handguns ever made, in America specifically. People just go nuts for these guns, and Honestly, I don't know why. It was a long time before I got my first Luger, and they're cool and everything, but what about a P.38s? What about other pistols? I mean, the 1911 is big too, but I'd say the Luger's got an even bigger reputation than the 1911 in some respects. So I think that when you're talking about functionality and reliability, et cetera, this is just as it's probably just as accurate as the Colt 1917. I just personally cannot use that weapon at 50 yards like I can this. It's like, again, it's a personal preference. So I'm definitely going to go with the Colt 1917 on this for Would You Rather. And if my decision seems justified enough to you, that's cool. I've done my job, but I want to keep this video short. I mean, I could rant about this for a long time, but try to keep the video relatively short. That's my humble opinion on these two handguns going head to head. If I had to choose, which one would I choose in that certain scenario? Now, there could be other scenarios that it would apply differently, and I maybe would favor the Luger over the Colt 1917. Who knows? But in this situation, if we're talking about just being an infantryman in France on the Western Front in 1918, I'm going to go with the Colt. So, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Again, become a supporter on Patreon, and $1 a month, and we can talk on there. You give me your ideas for head-to-head guns, just as long as it's something I have, obviously. I'd like to go out and buy everything you guys suggest, but not that wealthy. But anyway, so become a supporter on there. At least like this video and subscribe to the channel for more cool stuff. I think this is going to be a cool series. I'm going to try to get some videos with rifles done. There's been some really good ideas so far. It's just a matter of finding the time to get caught up on making YouTube videos and such. And yeah, so I'll cut this video off, and hopefully you guys like this. You can show me that by giving this video a thumbs up, and that's how I can tell it's very well liked. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you on the next video of this, hopefully.